Welcome to this broadcast about AI-powered finance. My name is Morten. I'm an architect.
And I'm Jacob. I'm also an architect.
Yes. I work within the ERP platform, Business Central primarily, and Jacob works with the
data and analytics.
Yes. Yeah. So today we will discuss finance processes primarily, and we will. The product we will be looking at is Business Central. There will be some additional products as well. Excel. We will have some Power BI and other things. A little bit of Outlook as well. But Business Central is the primary product we look at for the ERP processes.
Sounds good.
Yeah. AI in general really speaks well with our mission here at FellowMind. We have an ambition to make people enjoy working with technology and make technology work for them, and this really speaks to AI, in my opinion. It's a really good fit, which is also why we have a lot of focus on AI in general here at FellowMind, and that would be both in-product Copilots from Microsoft, but also custom-built AI solutions. Today, the primary focus will be on the products that are made available from Microsoft. We are seeing more and more being pushed out to almost any application you can imagine, and the small Copilot icons are showing up all over the place. This broadcast is part of a series where we focus on different processes. And today, the first one is about finance processes. So we are really happy to kick it off.
Excellent.
Yeah. We start with a little bit of statistics. This is from Microsoft, and it just shows what employees would like from a Copilot or from AI. And I think it's interesting to see in this data that it's really some of the more repetitive tasks that they are hoping to see made easier for them. And actually the next slide I think is even more interesting. It shows what leaders want from Copilot functionality or from AI, and they want many things, but out of all these things, what they want the least is to reduce the headcount of the company. Actually, they want that only half as much as they want to increase productivity. I think that's a really powerful statement, and it shows that maybe we shouldn't be so afraid about whether or not AI will take over our jobs and so on. I think AI is here to help us. And
we're not afraid.
No, definitely not.
It's a wonderful productivity tool.
Yes, for
we've
sure.
seen that already.
And we could start by asking what is Copilot. Because Copilot is a lot of things. Actually, Copilot is included in more or less all of Microsoft's products by now. So when you say Copilot, it could mean more or less anything in the whole Microsoft stack.
From a data perspective,
yeah,
you might say that there's a naming issue with the Copilot, right?
Could be. It's you definitely need to say a little bit more than just Copilot in order to identify what system you are talking about. That's for sure.
Indeed.
So on this slide here, you can see that we will primarily talk about the Business Central, which is under Dynamics 365, and Power BI, which is under the Fabrics part of the circle here.
Indeed.
But there are many more Copilots out there. The most important thing is the Copilot logo. Look at it and remember it. You will see it all over the application, no matter which application you're working in. Most likely, when you see it, it means that Microsoft is trying to help you with a suggestion to do something in the application.
Well, knowing Microsoft,
yeah,
they'll probably change the logo in a year.
Could be. Then remember the name until that changes.
And the name.
Yes. But let's see. The agenda for today is some selected finance processes, and then we have the some selected functionality that we will show for these processes. We start with accounts receivables, move on to accounts payables, project accounting, some reconciliation, which is primarily some Excel functionality I would like to show here. Yeah, and analysis views, which is in Business Central, that you can create analysis with a prompt. And we finish off with Power BI.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's start. So accounts receivables. What we have in the Business Central application at this moment is that we can ask for help to create sales lines in the application, and we can and it can specify items and quantities based on previous invoices, for instance. But it's really just free text. You can on an invoice you can open up these this Copilot and then ask it to do something. And we will actually do that live here. So let's hope everything works well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a productivity tool.
Yes. Okay. So let's go to the application here. And I will try to use it to create a sales invoice.
You're sharing the wrong page.
Ah, I can see that. Let's get rid of this presentation mode. Okay, here we go. So I here have Business Central with my sales invoices. I can create a new sales invoice and select some customer. If I go down to my lines, I can actually now see the Copilot logo, and I can press suggest sales lines. So here I could write these baselines on the last 3 invoices. And then it will try to generate that and see what it comes up with.
Drum roll.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's suggested to sell 10 desks and some chairs and some whiteboards as well. I can regenerate it, or I can change some settings down here to specify what I want generated, and I can press insert if I'm happy. And then I actually generated some sales lines. So it's an example of a really small and simple Copilot that we probably will see many of coming in the future. Small features that you can use to prompt your way through the application instead of clicking and learning how to do things.
I like that.
Yeah. Let's go back to the slides. Whoop. Another thing for accounts receivables is not, which is not Business Central. It is more generic. It is a Copilot app that has been released from Microsoft for Outlook. It's built to work with D365 Finance, but it will be, or is, I cannot completely figure out if it's actually working or not, but it should be possible to get it to work with other ERP sources as well.
Okay.
So not only Microsoft also. But the idea is that you connect Outlook to your ERP platform through this app, and it will help you to draft email replies to your customers, for instance, and get information from the ERP systems, and get the right answers to those emails. So I have a small screenshot here. It is in preview, this functionality, so you can go and download it and try to install it, see how it works. If you're running D365 Finance, it should be fairly straightforward to get it to work, at least. But this is an example of a customer writing about some inquiry, and the accountant here has replied based on Business Central to the ERP system. To the right, you can see that there's some information about the customer, and also all the outstanding invoices that they have. So from here on, it will of course draft the text itself, propose a reply, and then you can change it. You can pull in some files to attach some files if you want to do that, and then you can press send. So that's
pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool tool. It's part of this Copilot for Finance product that is in preview. It consists of this app and an Excel app as well that we will look at later.
Ooh, Excel.
Yeah. Excel is still a very big part of finance processes, and it's a really good tool. It's not very good to store data, but it's a really good tool to work in. So I'm happy that we have some Copilots there. If we go next to accounts payables, and here I selected some other functionality that we have in Business Central. We have a Copilot chat, which means that you can, in the application, you can chat with your data, and you can also use it to be told how to use the system. So,
what kind of questions would you ask then?
We will try to go and do it, but it could be, I want to find some data, I want to show me some data from the system, latest invoices or top 3 customers or these kind of things. But even more important, it could be used to ask questions about how to use the application. But let's try those in live here. The other thing I will show is the bank account reconciliation Copilot, which has been in a few releases now. It works on top of the current rule-based reconciliation rules. So more or less, if the rule-based reconciliation fails or something is left, then you pull out the Copilot and ask that to do that reconciliation.
What is rule-based reconciliation?
So yeah, that could be.
I couldn't even say it.
Yeah, that could be that you base it on a rule. The amount should match within a variance. It could be that the date matches of the transactions match within a variance.
Okay.
It could be by matching the customer number or some information from the transaction text from the bank, for instance.
Okay.
All these kind of things are rule-based, and they are hard configured in the system. When the customer number says this, then you should try to match it to the text over here from the transaction, and that works really well. But there are sometimes transactions left where you can have problems matching them automatically, and here AI can really help, especially cases where you have different languages. So let's say your ERP system's transactions are booked in, or the transaction text is in English, but the transactions on the bank is in Chinese, for instance. That's where the rule-based reconciliation could have issues, because it doesn't know Chinese. AI is pretty much indifferent about language. It knows languages really well. So that's one example. But let's dive into it. We open up our Business Central again. And let's start with the Copilot chat. I have a Copilot logo in the top of the screen. Right now, this functionality works in US English, so and nothing else. So if you want to try it out, you need to be running Business Central v24 and have the language set to English. And maybe it would still not work, because they're still rolling this out in the different countries. If I press it, I get my Copilot chat, and I can now start to ask questions to my Business Central here. So I could ask, how do I adjust currencies, for instance? That would be an example of something that, if you haven't done it before, you would need to learn how to do it. Maybe you would search on Learn to find that information. Maybe you would call your partner to get some education from them. But it's a really simple process, at least in this product. So this is a good example. You could just ask Copilot for this and maybe get yourself to the answer and start doing it.
Cool.
So it tells me where to go and what to do. And it, of course, has references to the sources where it found it, which is Learn.
Excellent.
Yeah. Another example is I could ask it about some data. So I could ask, what are the top 3 vendors this month? And then it will need to think. And this time it thinks a little bit longer because it actually needs to go down into the ERP data and validate that.
And scan everything.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But so we have been waiting for this Copilot chat for quite a while. We are happy that it's here. So the results are in now. So
hello, gorgeous.
Top 3 vendors apparently are these vendors. The functionality is really nice. We are hoping for it to grow over time, which of course it will. So, but it definitely contains some easy value already.
Certainly, this whole technology is still in its infancy. What did you say?
And we need to remember that we are still in an early phase with all of these things. So, much of the functionality we are seeing will have. We could maybe think it could work better, and it will at some point.
Yeah, and we see daily progress within these platforms.
I can see say that Microsoft's own, in their own words, they have saved. They said 40% of their development cost on using AI.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, and that's major. I think we can see it directly on the release plans that we are getting functionality pumped out like never before.
Yeah.
So exciting. Let's look at the bank account reconciliation. Yeah, another thing I didn't mention about the chat is I can actually chat with the Copilot and continue working in my environment. I didn't have to actually wait around for it to answer. It would run in the background, so to speak.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Let's find some bank account. Oh, where are you at? Oh, it's because I'm searching wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here. So here I have what is called a bank account reconciliation. You would have these running for every bank account that you have hooked up to the system. Or tracking in the system.
Yeah.
And the button is actually already here, but let's open it up and look at the reconciliation here first. So on the left side, I have my bank statement lines. On the right side, I have my bank account ledger entries. And this is what I want to match. I could do this manually, or the system would try to match them automatically based on the rule-based. But I can now also press reconcile with Copilot. Here is no prompt because it's obvious what I want to do.
Yeah.
So it will just try to do it. It said that it has matched 100%, and that we can see here that 1 out of the 3 lines here are auto-matched, and the last 2 are Copilot matched.
And then you would need to validate those yourself, or?
Then I will need to of course validate what it has found here, see if it looks correct, and I can press keep it if I want to keep it. And it has now been fully matched, this bank account reconciliation.
Wow.
Of course, this is mostly valuable if you're experiencing trouble with reconciliations and having a lot of leftovers from the rule-based reconciliation. But otherwise,
some people
pretty strong tool. If I had leftovers, I would be able to press this button underneath where it will suggest which GL accounts to actually post the differences to.
Okay.
And that would be based on the descriptions of the GL accounts.
So the description that actually have real value now?
Yeah, it could have. So it would know that if it says food on the transaction and it says some other description on the GL account, it will know that it's probably food that should go down there. Yeah. So that's the first example we actually see where the system really suggests accounting, a real choice of accounts in the system, and I think it's a good start.
All you need is a Copilot that would add the description for you then?
No, it will add the description.
Oh, it will?
Once it found the right account, it will take the description from that account and transfer it to.
But what if there weren't any description?
If there weren't any, there is some kind of description on it. But of course, if it's just some random code, it would not be able to decipher it. But, But it will take whatever is on the transaction and try to translate that into a GL account.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that was accounts payable, and I know it's a little bit far stretched. We don't have that much for the actual accounts payable processes, but it was the closest we could get to it. So let's look at project accounting, and this would then be an example of a custom Copilot that we have built and put into Business Central. Business Central as a platform is really extensible. You have you can install apps. Firstly, there are over 4,000 apps on App Stores for Business Central, and if nothing of that matches your needs, then you can custom build solutions. And this is an example of that. So in a recent release, we got a new object type in the product, which is actually called a prompt dialogue. So this means that we can now start to build these solutions. And this is an example of that. It's quite a really low-hanging fruits in the in investment-wise. We have this solution that I will show now. It could have been developed in about 20 hours.
Really?
My developer says. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's not really much in ERP terms. So you could build this. I would just say that before you run out and start customizing and building Copilots for all your processes in Business Central, keep track of the release plan because there is so much functionality coming out. We see even on minor releases, we see Copilots being released now. So before you build it and pay those 20 hours or how much it will be for that project, try to figure out if it's something that is generic and would probably be added at from Microsoft's side at some point.
But I guess with an investment of 20 hours development, this would fall into what many companies would consider learning hours. So
True. And then also you are modifying the system. So whatever you build here needs to be maintained. So if you start pumping the application full of custom extensions like this, then your maintenance budget will go up as well.
Okay.
Because of course it needs to be tested with every release, and
Okay.
and that falls on you as a customer if it's your extension.
I guess so.
Yeah, but it's a really good tool. We can build really cool things in a very short time. So whenever you have a process where you are doing things manually, typing in things, these kind of solutions could definitely help. Let's look at it. We go back in Business Central. And this time I will go into the project module. And here I will create a new project. Oh, I will actually not. I will start right here because I have under the new button, I now have suggest with Copilot. And this is a custom built Copilot.
Another Copilot button.
Yes.
It's a hidden gem, isn't it?
Yeah. and you can see that they really made it so you can't really tell the difference here. It's the same look and feel as the Microsoft Copilots, even though this is custom made. So they really added it as a new kind of a layer to the application where you can develop it yourself and so on.
Okay.
Let's try here to prompt something.
Create a project
for customer number 10,000.
Oh, you misspelled customer.
It will probably work. Let's see. Let's say for installment and testing. Okay, spelling is all wrong, but it will probably get it.
Excellent.
Of 5 coffee machines. Let's try it out and see what it says.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Drum roll
Exciting.
I'll bring my drum next time.
So it's done. It created a suggestion for a project here. It's called installment and testing of coffee machines. And it suggested some job tasks down here, which is the activities in the project.
Wow.
So I could regenerate as many times as I want, or I could press keep it when I'm happy. I can also edit the lines, remove something here, and say this I actually don't need. But when I'm happy, I can press keep it, and it will. Okay, it will. It actually just didn't get the customer number, so I guess it didn't understand that.
Well, I think it's a very good start, though.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Let's choose it manually. Keep it. Now I have my project created, which is installment and testing of 5 coffee machines. I can of course edit it from here.
Yeah.
So, but it will definitely save me some time in creating these activities. The next step is to actually assign some resources to this project, and I would do that by opening up one of the maybe the install coffee machine activity here. I would want to look at that. This is an item, but if I change it to a resource, then I should be able to say suggest resource.
And another Copilot pops up.
And I could here specify some kind of thing I would want to find in that resource. Now I will just press generate to see, but it will look up and see who has capacity, and
Mike does.
Mike has a capacity, so we can say here he has the skills and he has the capacity.
Excellent.
He's an expert in electric wiring, it says. So that's really good. I will confirm, and now Mike has been assigned to this task here. So this was really fastly built custom Copilot, and once it's in there, you can't really see the difference. It looks like something Microsoft has built themselves. So.
I'll say. And this Copilot is based off your previous project history?
No, this one is actually based on examples from Microsoft. To use this new object type.
But if you were to implement this...
If we were to implement, we would estimate that something like this would be about 20 hours of development. So it's fairly fast.
I think it's very impressive.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's move back to our slides. Okay, so now we go to the reconciliation part, and it's really a more general Excel functionality, I would say. We currently have 2 Copilots we can use for Excel. I have both of them installed for this demo purpose, but you can have that. One is called Excel Copilot for Finance, specifically tailored for finance processes. It supports reconciliation right now. It's not dependent on any ERP system, even though it should. The name could indicate it. It only works with the data that is in the Excel sheet that you're working with.
Okay.
And most ERP systems today have a high collaboration with Excel. It's very normal that you can pull almost anything out in Excel, work with it, and maybe push it back.
Indeed. Excel connections.
Yeah. So I think it's a really good tool, and it looks like it will be developed in a really good direction as well. Currently, it's reconciliation. Next step looks like they will add some variance analysis as well. But it's a Copilot tailored for specific operations and not a general help with pivoting and then so on.
Okay.
And then the other one is called Copilot for M365 Copilot for Excel, and that is part of the M365 Copilot suite. So we will look a little bit about look at that as well, and then maybe just look at what the differences are and what you can use it for.
I'm psyched.
Yeah. Let's open up Excel. This is my Excel file. I have 2 different data sets here. I have my one called demo trip budget, another called demo bank statement. This is just an example of us being able to reconcile something. So I want to take entries on my first pane here and reconcile it with the entries on the second pane. So
that makes sense.
In the top of my Excel, I have a Copilot for Finance preview installed. If I open up this, I will get Copilot for Finance here.
It's very personal, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It says, "Hi, Morten. and that's good. I can only reconcile data at this point, but that's fine. That's what I will show that I can do. If I press it, it will try to look at the different panes on the Excel sheet and see it suggest what it is I want to actually reconcile. And it suggests it is correct in this example here. It wants to take these two different data sets and reconcile it.
Do you need to format your data as a table for this to work?
No.
No?
If I press next, I can... yeah, so here it actually says I want to add columns. It didn't. I will try again, because usually it's able to pretty much predict what I want. So I'll just try pressing here. Let's see.
Please, demo
yes.
gods. Ooh, there we go.
Now it worked. So it figured out which columns it is likely for me wanting to reconcile. I can definitely see it has some dates and it has some amounts, so that should work. If I'm not happy with it, of course I can edit it or regenerate, or I can edit the specific fields here.
So impressive.
Yeah.
They're not even named consistently or anything.
No.
It's just a wild guess.
It just tries to predict that it's probably something about dates and probably something about amounts that I want to match up.
That makes sense.
If I press keep it and press next, then it will generate a report for me.
Nice. And that's a new page in your Excel sheet.
Yes. And this page it tries to sum up what has been matched. It also generates a description of what was matched. So it says what it could match and what it couldn't match and so on. And if I wanted, I could press include the summary in the report. Then it will take this summary and add it to the actual page, meaning I could now maybe print it or I could
save as a PDF.
PDF and send it to someone.
Excel and PDF in one.
Yeah.
Happy. Excellent.
Really good. Yeah. So this is more or less what it can do at this point, but I think it's really a strong tool.
I think it's very impressive.
If you work a lot with reconciliation of different data, it doesn't have to be bank like it is here. It could be anything. Then this tool is actually really cool, I think.
It saves you a bit of VLOOKUP or index matches, wouldn't it?
I would say so, yes. Yeah. So that was Copilot for Finance, and that's what it can do at this point.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think I will certainly install that on my...
You need to run by your IT department first to get it approved, most likely. But from there on, it's just installing it from AppSource.
Okay. It's not Visual Basic, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's an app that is on an AppSource, and you don't actually get any scripts or anything. You just install it. And
so it doesn't have to be a macro-enabled Excel sheet?
No, I don't think so.
Good.
No. Any Excel sheet with data should work, as far as I have tested at least. The other product in Excel is, of course, the M365 Copilot, which is more general, I would say, where Copilot for Finance is focused on specific tasks, finance-related. Then the M365 Copilot is focused on many other things. And let's go to some place where we have some data. It gives me a pretty good overview of what is included or what I can use it for. And that's more or less what it can do. It can add formulas. It could highlight some data. It could sort and filter data, and it could analyze some data. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so. So if I wanted to ask it to add a new column, and we could do something really simple. We could say, add a column with a unique ID for each line. Let's say, see what it comes up with. So more or less all of the Excel formulas that you can use, this will also be able to use. What did it do? No, it didn't work. Okay, that's really strange. That worked yesterday, so not so consistent, I guess. But we could try something else, and we can.
I guess it's always a bit wonky.
Of course, and it's a live demo as well.
Mm-hmm.
So. Let's try to see if we can add a column where we multiply the amount with 2.
Okay.
Maybe that would work. No.
No.
Okay.
Oh, well, you wrote multiplied.
Okay, that would definitely not work. Unless it would understand what I tried to say. I think, let's give it one last shot here.
One last shot. I'm holding my breath. And I can inject at this stage. These are functionalities that we have in Power BI as well.
Yeah.
And they're good, and they're getting better every day, certainly.
Yeah.
But you don't always get the result that you expect.
No. So, for instance, right now I'm definitely not getting anything. So I think we should call quits on this demo. I think it works really well. You can add columns, formulas. It can pivot your data if you wanted to do that.
Oh, really?
And I think it is a really good tool. But I would leave it up to you guys to look into it and test it out. Yeah, it certainly works for me in my.
Yeah. No. I actually like that. Yeah. The variance that you get something new. And so we've gotten this a few months back, but oh, we have a little bit of a technical issue, but it's it's working really well. So I guess I am talking. I am talking. I will be talking about Power BI then, because I know more about that. We have the Copilot in Power BI now, and you're not back online yet. Okay. Okay. Looking on your screen in Power BI, we have with my count 5 different versions of the Copilot, and I expect the Copilot to really just be one thing. That's why they call it Copilot, even though it exists many places. And the star of the show is certainly the Copilot that we have in GitHub. That Copilot will help us with writing code, and it's surprisingly good. It's been a game changer for all the developers in that I know, and that's also what Microsoft says. This is the Copilot that really helped their productivity.
We're back.
Yeah, we need a Copilot for the microphone.
Yeah, for the batteries.
For the batteries.
Okay, but so Copilot in Power BI contains of the GitHub Copilot. We use that. I can say we use that as well in business applications. It works really well. Saves a lot of time.
Many developers do, right?
Yeah.
And even converting between different coding languages is also done by the Copilot to a great extent.
Okay. And then report generation?
Yeah, we have report generation and something that I will demo shortly. And we have also a functionality of data exploration. And we can ask questions to our data. And finally, we also have the documentation of our business logic, which is done in DAX, the data analysis expression language.
Okay, let's have a look at it.
Yeah, well, I will show you my screen then. When I have a semantic model, I can use the explore data and generate an auto-generated report. This is the functionality that's been improved over some time, and I can pre-select my data and say let's do something by maybe what have we here, and let's go with the not the product color, but the let's go with the English product name.
Based on a data model, it predefines some reports for you.
Yeah.
And then it will adjust that to the individual tables that you then take off here.
And this is a standard Power BI report. As any Power BI report that you'd see, it can cross-filter. It has all the standard functionality and wonderful performance that you'd expect. And if I save this, let's call it demo. And save. There we go. Then I can actually use this report with my Copilot and start asking questions like you did in Excel to my data. And this is not just one table, as you saw in the list. This is a full data model of much more data that you could ever fit into an Excel sheet. And I can get an explanation of the visuals on my page, and I can even start asking questions. And I learned the hard way that you can't always trust the prompt down here. You can basically ask questions of what you see on your report page. And since I have a very large data set, I might have questions about my inventory or some other things that weren't shown on my report page. And the Copilot at this stage would probably not give me a good answer. But I could ask it questions like what was my sales amount at the year 2013? Because it's readily there on the page.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I don't know where to look.
So what it really means is that the end user of the systems can now start to produce these kind of reports themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you can when you get the insights on your page, you can press the little number at the end of the insight and get a highlight of where the data was situated on your page.
Okay.
And I think this helps new users of Power BI greatly to get started with.
And then once we have generated this report, I can try to embed it in Business Central.
Ooh.
Yeah. Let's go to my screen here. If I on my front page here, go down to some Power BI reports and see if I can select it. Of course, that requires that you have shared it with me, but let's see.
I called it demo.
Okay.
It was a great name, wasn't it?
Yes, let's try.
And it's loading.
It's loading, yeah.
Are we coming full circle?
Ah, no.
No, it gave you the
That's
wrong
report.
Oh.
Okay, but you could do that. You could embed it. We are running out of time here. I will just quickly run back on the analysis view functionality that I promised to talk about. In Business Central, on more or less any page now, I can go to analyze list, and I can ask, please pivot customers by balance, for instance, and I can press generate. and it will try to create me an analysis view based on the data on this page.
Aha.
So, an in-client analysis functionality. So, and this I can actually take the URL and send to a colleague.
Okay.
And they would see the same view. Okay, we are done.
We're done.
Thank you for today.
Wonderful. Bye-bye.